Some interesting news as it pertains to the Kentucky Wildcats. We're talking about jumping to the 9-game SEC schedule. Well, now we know who are going to be the opponents for 4 years, the 3 different teams, and of course, how many wins are they expected to get, especially if they can continue under Mark Stoops. Stick with us. We'll fill you in. What's cooking? Welcome back into another edition of Now We Can Talk Like Fans on ESPN Louisville Plus. If you haven't already, do us a solid favor, smash that freaking like button, hit the subscribe button, and of course, go on and jump on over to the Now We Can Talk Like Fans channel, where you can also subscribe over there. We have a link over here up at the top, so that way you can stay up to date on all things that we have, bluegrass related, Kentucky, cards, everything else. We might, honestly, right now, Indiana might be demanding attention. So it might actually go back to being Kentuckiana, and we might have to talk about Indiana because Curt Cignetti, it's Cignetti, you bums, not Cignetti. Anyway, Curt Cignetti has got him rolling over there after demolishing Illinois this weekend. I haven't even said it. My name's Justin Sovero, but more importantly, we're not talking about Indiana right now. I get it. You're trying to demand me to talk about you. We're not talking about Indiana right now. We are talking about the Kentucky Wildcats and, of course, their potential upcoming schedule. We have some information that has dropped. I believe it was Chris Lowe had put this out there about some potential news, and this graphic is from On3 about potential annual opponents in the SEC for the Kentucky Wildcats and, of course, for everybody else in the SEC since they're jumping to the 9-game schedule. We'll just jump into it and get right into a reaction and what exactly Kentucky has to look forward to. We're looking at Kentucky having 3 main opponents. 2 of them, well, actually, right now, I guess if things continue on like they have with Beamer Ball, 3 somewhat tough ones. Kentucky playing Florida, obviously, SEC conference rival, Tennessee, and then South Carolina, which has been like a budding rivalry there between the way things have gotten between Beamer Boy, the sunglasses, the attitude that he's coming with while he's been playing Mark Stoops, while he's been honestly paddling that booty, which is not been a great situation for the Wildcats. So hopefully we'll see what happens there. Maybe, again, who knows how long he will be here. Maybe Virginia Tech will come calling to bring their prodigal son back home. Anyway, Florida right there. Billy Naps is going to be done by the end of this year. You're looking at Lane Kiffin, I'm guessing, more than likely, and I know nobody knows, and I'm being a little bit, I'm going out on a little bit of a limb, just concluding it's going to be Lane Kiffin, but expecting Lane Kiffin to probably fill that role. He fits perfectly into what Florida is, the attitude, all that. He would be great there, moving from Ole Miss there, and unfortunately for that, probably not great for the Kentucky Wildcats if things continue where they are, especially if maybe you move on from Mark Stoops and the Kentucky Wildcats bring in John Summerall, who just also got paddled there by Lane Kiffin this weekend. Anyway, regardless, we can't predict what will happen, obviously, in all of those games, but difficult situations to say the least. And, of course, Tennessee. And then, of course, if we're looking at historically, both teams, Tennessee and Florida, we remember, and maybe I'm aging myself by going back to those 30-year streaks that both of those teams were on against Kentucky. That's been a little bit now. Kentucky's definitely been able, thanks to Mark Stoops, to win some of those games, and especially lately with Florida, been handling themselves more than adequately against the Florida Gators with Billy Naps. But we will see what will happen in the next few years. Interesting for the Cats, and then we move on to some of the other teams. One thing I'm going to point out, Tennessee, outside of having to play Alabama, and I get it's Alabama, but Tennessee, who did you have to put whatever would be in your mind, inappropriate comment there, who did you have to do that to be able to get both Kentucky and Vanderbilt? And I understand rivalry with Kentucky, location, Vanderbilt makes sense. It's a rival-ish too. I get it. But let's be honest. Let's be honest about where Kentucky and Vanderbilt, for the most part, have been in the SEC. Those are 2 of the more, what I guess a lot of LSU, Georgia, Texas, those kind of teams may call more give-me games. But interesting overall. It makes sense, but also just seems kind of lucky that Tennessee were to get both Kentucky and Vanderbilt. Anyway, continue to look through the schedule. Interesting one, Auburn having Alabama, Georgia, and Vanderbilt there. Nothing really stands out too much. I feel like they're pretty fair and balanced with a lot of these teams. LSU, The Arkansas, Ole Miss, Texas A&M one, kind of a little bit of a meh sandwich a little bit for me personally, but interesting overall. You can take a look at it there. We'll have that, obviously some links and stuff shared out where you can find those as well on ESPN Louisville.com. But if you haven't already, make sure you let me know your comments and what your feelings are in the comment section down below. How do you feel about these potential opponents for Kentucky, Florida, Tennessee? Of course, Tennessee under Heupel has been resurgent as a college football power. But as so, Kentucky has found more than enough times to be able to get up for that game and to play with Tennessee. So we'll see what happens there. Anyway, let me know thoughts, opinions, comments in the comment section down below. If you haven't already, do me a solid favor, smash that freaking like button. You can follow me at Justin Sofer on Twitter. Of course, you can follow ESPN Louisville at all the ESPN Louisville YouTube. We got TikTok now. We got all that stuff at ESPN Louisville. And make sure you definitely follow the Now We Can Talk Like Fans channel as well. Cards, Cats, Bourbon, and Bluegrass. I'll see you all next time.